So we're at my place in Santa Monica. We just got here. Wanted to let Griff meet the other dogs. There's beautiful Ruby. Ernie, who's the elderly statesman of the group in his own world. And Robert, definitely the authoritarian, the loud one, the mischievous one, the puppy, the young gun. And Griff is not shying away from him, doesn't show any fear towards them, but definitely doesn't seem to be really that interested in playing. Taking him to doggy daycare probably would be a good idea, just to give him more social exposure, even if he doesn't necessarily play with the other dogs. Social stimulation is important for humans, and it's also important for dogs. So I'm going to just give him a chance to kind of, even if he doesn't make any buddies, sometimes it's helpful to develop social skills, how to say no, how to disagree, how to tell a dog that you don't want to play with it, or to keep its space. Those are all things that will help in other capacities. Kind of following him because he is a little bit of a marker being a dog out on his own. But you see, he's doesn't have a problem with the other dogs at all. Right? And he's pacing a little bit back and forth, which tells me he's kind of might be a little bit anxious, looking for kind of a place to feel a little bit more secure. So I'm going to give him a little bit of space. Dogs like to do their business back here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him do some of his handstand marking. Quest, get out of there. Give him some space. Robert. Robert. Bobby, here. There we go. That is definitely your signature move, but I can see how your mom's not a big fan, because when you do stand up and you're a boy dog who's peeing, gravity does its thing on your chest. But all in all, he's a really good dog. The guardian's lucked out. He has great energy. If she can continually reinforce rules, boundaries, and limits on a consistent basis with good timing, eventually he'll kind of gravitate more into a follower's mindset. And when that's the case, it'll feel inappropriate for him to mark. Also, things like petting with a purpose and passive training, like rewarding him every time he does something on his own, like here. He was coming to me anyways. If I just simply pet him and say the word here, every time he comes to me, I'm training him to have a really strong recall. Here. And that's really what I like to call passive training. You can do it for anything your dog does. The recall is a good illustration, or as he goes behind the curtains, is a good one, because it's an important one to have your dog be able to come to you if it's in a park or somewhere where it might get into trouble. But you can do it with anything. Every time if your dog doesn't sit very well, every time it sits, pet it and say the word sit. Don't say good sit, just say the word sit. Every time it lays down, say whatever your word is for lay down. I say crash. If you say it within 3 seconds of the dog doing it consistently and letting the dog do it on its own, don't try to lure it, just be observant and reward the dog when he does. If you do this, every time you pet your dog, it's like a mini training session that you do without even thinking about it. It's truly a gift, but you're going to have to get yourself into a habit of doing it. So I call it passive training, and I actually taught my dog how to stretch this way. Every time he'd stretch, I pet him and say the word stretch. Now I can say stretch. He will stick his butt in the air, wiggle his tail at the end, and yawn on command. Ruby, what do you got your legs stuck up there for? What do you think of this new blonde? It's like, whatever, we're chill. We deal with it. We put up with the Dalmatian. We can deal with the Griffith. All right, so again, anything your dog does, come, sit, lay down, roll over. It's a little bit more complicated, but it brings you a shoe, say the word fetch. Reward your dog for doing the things it does already, and you'll inadvertently train your dog to do the things you want them to do.